I met my husband is we wrote an ad for this woman on Lakeshore Drive, and she wanted to go to one of those expensive dating services. And I said, well, they're expensive, but you can try it. One day she called me up and she said, well, they found somebody for me. And I said, well, that's good. And she said, well, oh God, you haven't heard, he's an accountant. And I said, okay. Accountants are okay. She said, well, he's Jewish. And I said, that's good, you're Jewish, I'm Jewish, he's Jewish. She said, no, you live, she said he lives all the way in that town that you live in, okay, Downers Grove. You know, you live in the city you don't know anything about. And I said to myself, look, there aren't that many Jews in Downers Grove, why don't I know this man? And then she said to me, but I can't go out with him on Wednesday because my mother's coming in from Shaker Heights. So I looked him up in the phone book, picked up the phone, and called him. And he asked me out to dinner. He took me to dinner in Naperville in case, God forbid, I was awful, that nobody would see me. And he dropped me at the door, and I walked in saying, he didn't even open the door for me, and I walked in my house and said, oh God, there goes another one. The next day, the doorbell rings, and a dozen red roses arrives with a note that says, thanks for the unexpected. It was really lovely. Actually, he fell in love with me first. And then I said, okay, can I really, because one, there's an 18-year age difference, but I'd been dating all over the place for a long time. I had been engaged before, and I said, okay, can I fall in love with this man? 2, can I live with this man? Okay, and 3, is it okay if he doesn't live, that much longer? Okay, he was 60 when we got married, 61, I think. Okay, he's 87 now. In my head, I said 10 years. And we've been married 26. It's a long time. We were going to Paris, and we were going on a riverboat cruise, and we were in this little hotel. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, he tells me, I think I'm having a heart attack. It was kind of bad. By the time they got him, there's a hospital outside of Paris called the American Hospital. He was already ready to have the angioplasty. And he was okay. But it slowed him down. It took a while to recover from that. Then he had other things. We'd go on trips and he would faint here and there. So wherever we'd wind up, we'd be in hospitals. I don't remember. We were in Germany, and once he fainted when we were trying to visit his relatives. We were in London once, and he fainted. We were in Ireland, and something happened. We think it was low blood pressure, and he fainted. So we'd wind up at a hospital, and then they'd release him, and he'd be fine. We were in southern Spain. And then things went along okay. Fast forward to the summer. We decided we were going to take a driving trip right after tax season. We were going to go to Nashville. We were going to go visit friends in Knoxville, and then we were going to go to Asheville, North Carolina, which is beautiful. He was fine in Nashville. And he was fine in Knoxville with our friends. We got to Asheville, and the man could hardly breathe. The man could hardly walk. And I just looked at him, and I said, we're going home. I drove straight from Asheville to here. Okay, it's about 12 hours, and got him directly into the ER room, and he was having a major COPD exacerbation. So he was having huge amounts of breathing problems. I was scared absolutely out of my gourd. They put him on steroids, okay, and then he had a relapse. It was bad. I was pretty, out of sorts. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know how bad this was. I mean, he wasn't dying, but I was envisioning not quite an invalid, but pretty bad. And I didn't know, what I was going to need or how this was going to work. I had envisioned this as being a major shift in how our life was going to be. I have to tell you, I didn't know what my life was going to look like. I didn't know what his life was going to look like. I didn't know if we were, going really down to here. I just didn't know. His short-term memory is going. It's really gone. Also, on one of the trips, he forgot to pay the bills, which wasn't too wonderful, so I took over the bills. And that was a really big thing because this was a man that was a financial genius. Do you follow me? It's scary that I know something's happening to him. If something's going to happen, he's pretty accepting of who he is and how old he is and whatever there is to be. That also makes it easier for me. He's not fighting where he's at. He's really happy to be what he can do. And that's a really nice thing for me. I will honestly tell you, when we talk about our marriage, one of the really wonderful things for me is I've learned a lot about how to live from him. I'll cry, but he lives, he doesn't live like I do, like this, but he has a lot of integrity about the way he lives. And that's a really nice thing. And so when it's time for it to be over, he'll know and he's okay because he's done what he wants to do and he's lived the way he wants to live.